Hello and welcome back to our year in review part 2, fourth year on Stinker Madness.
Yeah.
What's that smell?
I don't know about you, but I'm thirsty as fuck. Thirsty as fuck.
Hey, look at these!
Thrill me.
If you come back in here, I'm gonna hit you with so many rights, you're gonna beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Beg for a left.
Thrill me.
Hey, look at these!
It stinks.
Hello and welcome to Stinker Madness, the podcast about bad movies for bad movie lovers by bad movie lovers. I'm your host Justin. With me as always Sam and Jackie. This is part 2 of our big closeout of each year, our fourth year in podcasting. These are now the cream of the crop.
Yeah, I would say cream of the crap.
As it were, the top 4 movies that we watched in the last year, picked by each of us individually. These are all stop what you're doing and watch these movies if you haven't. Highly important, highly awesome. The best that you could possibly get in the genre of whatever this genre is. Stinkers.
Before we get started, I'd like to make a comment that might be inflammatory to some of our fans, and I just have to do it anyway because of what happened to us prior to recording this episode. Is we watched an episode of Airwolf, and I just have to say that Airwolf blows ass.
Airwolf did not make my year in review.
Airwolf is terrible, and I've watched it a few times because I wanted to be like, when it first came out, I was like, Airwolf, oh my god, you're all...
It's a sweet-ass attack helicopter. It's gotta be rad, right?
It had, I think I was in 3rd grade or something when it came out, so it was basically as awesome as it could be to me because I was 8.
Right.
But I watched it a few times as an adult. I'm like, man... you can't there's not enough here to make a show of. This should have been a movie or something, right?
Right.
There's a very specific need for an attack helicopter, and it can't be the jack of all trades every week on television.
You can't solve crime on a weekly basis with an attack chopper.
With a secret attack chopper that lives in a volcano in Monument Valley.
Rocket-powered attack chopper.
With elements from Johnny Quest, like the guy that's the kingpin of their operation has like a weird... sunglass eye patch thing going on.
What's his name?
Archangel?
Yeah, Archangel, yeah.
Yeah. Ernest Borgnine's a strange comic relief. He's too expensive for this show. So what you have is this fucking series that can never be what, like, if every dollar they spent on the 55 original episodes before it got Canadian reintroduction and production to USA, if they would have spent all of the money that they spent on the 55 episodes of the CBS Airwolf run, they would have been able to make 5 good episodes of Airwolf. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they made 55. So most of them are just everything but Airwolf with this title sequence at the beginning and then some more helicopter shit at the end when it's not even Airwolf for the 45 minutes in the middle.
Airwolf does not appear inside of Airwolf.
Oh.
Here's your problem with your theory, Sam.
What?
They did make Airwolf the movie. It's called Megaforce, and it stinks, and it flopped, and so they should have known fucking better than to make Megaforce the TV show.
You just led me to something that's more inflammatory to some of our listeners, possibly the fans of the Star Wars, because I watched the new one.
Ugh.
And it
You're
was
a brave man.
Jack B was saying they're bringing back Megaforce. He's catfished me or whatever, right?
Sure.
No, they did. They're 3/4 of the way through the new Star Wars. The Rebel Alliance goes Megaforce. I am not joking. I'm like, oh my god, that was the only part of the movie I was like, they're going Megaforce.
That's awesome.
That's so stupid.
Brian Bostwick Barry Bostwick is Cal Mordraw.
Yeah.
Whatever dumb Star Wars name appears in that film. Let's get to the year in review.
I'm just gonna say right now, it sounds like I really escaped a bullet this afternoon
You
by
dodged
taking a
bullet
nap.
missing Airwolf, because wow. Bryan Cranston was in it.
Bryan Cranston was in it.
But yeah, no, Airwolf. Oof. Jackie, number 4 on your year in review.
Okay. Are you guys going to guess?
Yeah, I know what that song is.
Sleepwalkers!
Sleepwalkers.
Because Clovis is the best fucking detective ever.
Here's... If the show had not been called Airwolf, if it had just been Clovis the attack cat, because when you've got Clovis, you don't need a fucking attack chopper.
Clovis Super Cop.
Super Cop.
He needs to team up with Jackie Chan. Like they could do a Super Cop 10 or wherever they're at now. Super Cop with Clovis.
Right.
As a sidekick.
Police Story 62. Clovis.
Oh, yeah. And this movie was just so cool. Like, I liked that the teacher got his arm ripped off.
Right.
I thought that was great.
Right.
I liked that they had the superpower that they could change their car anytime they wanted.
Right.
That was pretty cool.
That's pretty strange for cat people to have.
But the one thing I did not like about this
Okay.
is that the cat people, when you see them in the mirror, they look weird.
They're like
Demons.
Yeah, they're hairless, grody, shriveled up, pruny cats.
Demon cats. People.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that could have been done a little better.
I didn't
What's
like
wrong with the tabby cat?
I didn't like that they're hairless and don't have junk. They should have had junk. Why
Yeah.
not? I mean, this movie's very rated R. Give them some cat
I think
junk.
Yeah,
Junk
he's-
would have got him an X rating.
You think?
Yeah, you
Cat
couldn't do
junk?
junk.
Look.
But you can have him sleep with his mom.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I mean, you can. I mean, yeah. Well, that's the thing is that killing someone is PG-13. Tits are rated R.
Right.
That's the kind of fucking pool that the MPAA is running.
Right. Yeah, maybe rated X, but I'm looking down right now at my dog and I can see his dick. I mean, life isn't rated R because animals' junk is always out. These people should have had junk. I'm sure maybe it's not, erect or anything like that. But,
Well, that's another problem when you get like the makeup guy that did those is so grotesque. It's like, do we get to do junk this time? Yeah, Steve, we get to do junk. And it's like, wow, Steve, you've made a cat person with giant balls and a weird crooked dick. And now we're all going to be staring at that weird crooked dick. every time.
because we're not staring at their awful costumes to begin with.
I think that their dick would have looked like E.T.
Might have. Like
just in ET, a small ET toy stuck to their pelvis.
Yeah,
Eyes light up if you turn its head to the left.
exactly.
It would make perfect sense in Sleepwalkers because nothing makes sense in Sleepwalkers.
And Mark Hamill was in it in the
Yep.
very beginning.
Always good to see Mark Hamill.
The dead girl in the very beginning I thought was done really well. Shut up. Quit laughing.
Nothing was done well in Sleepwalkers.
I really, really liked it.
It's awesome. It is fucking awesome. Spoiler alert, we're going to see Sleepwalkers again.
The only reason I didn't put it on my list is because I knew it was going to be on both of your lists, so I just wanted to add a movie that we could talk about because I was like,
Yeah.
Sleepwalkers is going to be top 5 for all of us, so I'm just going to leave it out because I know what's going to be there.
We talk about Stephen King so fucking much because, God, he's perfect for this fucking show. And 2 of his works are in my legitimately favorite movies of all time, Stand By Me and Shawshank.
Yeah.
What a guy, he runs the gambit all over the place of quality writing to shit writing. And then there's stuff in between that nobody even ever addresses, like Thinner is no good. It's boring. What's the other one that was right around that time of Thinner?
I don't remember what came out after
The
Thinner.
Tommyknockers.
Tommyknockers was made for TV.
Yeah, the Stand TV. But I'm not talking
Sure.
about his books. I'm talking about the things that were
Productions.
converted. Yeah. Just all over. And usually you don't find that in somebody like that where they have extremely good writing and then extremely dumb writing and every step along the way.
Yeah.
So thank you, Stephen King, for existing.
Volume is incredible.
Yeah.
What was the one with Johnny Depp that came out in the early 2000s where he was like writing in the woods?
Oh,
You
God.
know, the corn at the end.
Yeah, it's not called Rear Window, obviously, but it's like The Window, Cabin Window, or something
Barn
like that.
Door.
I saw that in the theater
Oh,
on a date.
I didn't. It wasn't that bad. But it was like my Friday night was spent with that movie, and I was like, well, that fucking sucks.
Yeah, right.
I wanted to punch Johnny Depp in the face after it. I think I didn't care about him before, but after that movie, I hated it.
That was the turning point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sleepwalkers, though, Cat People, the movie, man, it is awesome. And Clovis. I mean, you could just, whatever Clovis is in is going to be awesome because that cat kicks fucking ass.
Oh, yeah.
Sam, number 4.
Number 4 was the last thing we talked about last week.
Okay.
Speed Zone.
Speed Zone, starring the SCTV crew.
Yes. And what I saved for this week is we mentioned the SCTV, but we didn't mention the goddamn Smothers Brothers.
Yeah?
And they are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
That Peanuts plane gag is one of the best routines that I've seen in a movie. The Smothers Brothers are super funny fucking guys. Their routines are fucking solid gold. And the whole plane thing with the Smothers Brothers is amazing.
Insane.
That's what actually turned this from like a Hall of Fame, from a, it was a sleeper. It was like, oh, I know I'm going to like it because I saw the first part of it.
Right.
But this thing turned into like a Hall of Fame contender because of that fucking plane sequence
When
where they're racing in the plane.
They're racing a plane on the 405.
Yes.
That is bananas. That's like, can you imagine the logistics to get something like that put together?
I can't believe they did it.
I can't believe they did it either. And it's a full-size 727 that when they hit the overpass gets the wings tore off.
There seems to be no good way to fake that.
What if Gary forgot to load the film?
Yeah.
We got one shot at this, boys. Let's not fuck it up. I mean, dude.
You had to have fucking 6 to 10 cameras just for that one day to be like, we cannot miss
fail safes upon fail safes.
You can only do something like that once.
We're not getting another 727, Gary. Don't fuck it up.
Don't fuck it up.
Well, you know what's sad is that in the previous episode, I didn't talk during this movie because I couldn't remember it.
Until just now.
Until just now, when you're like the 727, the Smothers Brothers, I'm like, oh yeah, that was the best part of that entire movie was those two.
It is. The 727 is just mind-blowing.
Yeah.
You see, I mean,
but
like
the rest of it was so forgettable for me.
You talk about cliffhanger, and it's the most expensive stunt of all time, and you're like, bleh. When you watch it, you've got this, and it's like, dude, this is nuts.
Yeah, I don't know how they even, because they have, you can't just crash a plane into an overpass,
right?
So they had to rig it some way. But you're looking at it going like, how the fuck did they even rig it to make it look like you're running a fucking plane into an overpass?
When you write that down on paper and then turn it over to the studio and say, yeah, you're going to have to write a check for this, them saying yes to that request for that check is,
I almost think,
I'd tell you to go fuck yourself.
Because of how troubled the production was before it got made and how it gets to get kicked out of being officially in the trilogy for Cannibal Run, that it may have been the producer that like finally Greenland was like said, if you can do this fucking plane thing and prove to me that you can do this fucking plane thing, I don't care what else you do.
Yeah.
I'll fucking give you the meager budget you're asking for if you can actually pull this shit off.
Right. No, Speed Zone is awesome. I don't know what you're talking about, Jackie. When you said on the episode that we did it for that you didn't like it, and I was like, what? I love it. I fucking love that movie.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was extremely forgettable for me. I even did a podcast on it, and I don't remember it.
Huh. Well, okay. Speed Zone is not Jackie's bag, baby.
No. What do you got for 3? 4.
Number 4 for me is a little film starring John Ritter and James Belushi. Real Men.
This is my number 2.
Oh, it's my number 2 as well.
Yeah, no, I knew it would get to make the rounds quite heavily. I'll keep my bit about Real Men brief, but what I want to say about Real Men is that it's a surprise, because every single thing about that movie, if you put it on paper and slid it over to me and said, this is what Real Men is, I'd be like, no, that's going to be awful. That's going to be terrible. None of this would work. It will look stupid. Nobody will laugh at it. The plot is nonsense. Nobody's going to go for this. This is a no for me. And yet somehow those two guys take that writing that should be stupid and fucking kill it.
Yeah, they carry. it all works as a machine, though. It's just a tremendously silly machine that you wouldn't expect to work at all.
Right. It shouldn't have worked.
And Jim
it does.
Belushi is in such good shape in this movie.
And normally I don't like Jim Belushi, but man, he is funny in this film.
I give him chances periodically just because of this movie.
Yeah.
'Cause I've seen it. My first time through was when I was a kid, and it's like my whole life I'm like, I give Jim Belushi a chance to be funny. I'm like, I'm going to give him another shot because I know he can do it. I've seen Real Men. And honestly, he's pretty good in Red Heat, too.
Yeah. No, it's exactly how you write this pairing and why the straight man and hey lady works so fucking well and has worked for 100 years is because when you put it together, you get Real Men. And those guys did it perfectly. John Ritter as the screwball and Jim Belushi as the straight man works for me completely.
And I think it was the best part about that movie was when they were like, bang, bang.
The
Again,
finger gun thing
should not work.
Should not work.
And it does. Jackie, number 3 to you.
Labyrinth.
Really?
Dance magic, shove my penis in your face.
I'm going to support your pick here because I can't, because of the fact that it does so many things wrong, I can't consider it to be a good movie.
I agree.
Even though visually speaking, it's amazing.
It's a masterpiece. Other than visually when David Bowie's dong is hitting you in the nose in 3D.
Yeah, he's got a grapefruit stuck in his pants.
Guys got to shoot around that.
Here's the deal. I know because this movie is traumatizing to a child. So I spent my whole life, I've been like I have night sweats where I'm just running from David Bowie's package, right? So as an adult, I hear somebody tells me, oh, David Bowie does for a full frontal in The Man Who Fell to Earth. And I'm like, I'm going to Netflix when Netflix was still discs. I'm going to mail out for a movie to see another guy's cock.
Right.
So I watched The Man Who Fell to Earth specifically to see David Bowie's dick. And I'm like, it was actually not a bad movie. But when you finally get there, it's like, it was so anticlimactic because it's like I've spent my whole life on this journey to looking at David Bowie's dick. It's just so stupid. And I get there, I'm like, that's a normal sized dick. What the fuck is going on in Labyrinth? He's got a grapefruit stuck down there.
I think it's that they really shot unaround it.
Yeah.
Like when you focus that hard on someone's dong, it's gonna look big.
Yeah.
My hang up with Labyrinth, and this is a flaw with me, not the film, is the entire time when I was watching it, because Jackie and I went and saw it at the theater. It was on one of those re-release jobbers. The entire time I felt uncomfortable because I was watching Jennifer Connelly and realizing in like 3 years you are going to be so fucking hot.
She is, in 3 years, she's going to be pretty hot. But when she was one of those weird ones that it was like, when she turned 40, she was this, nobody's ever looked better at 40 than Jennifer Connelly. She was like a goddess at that age. It was unbelievable. She didn't like ripen until that age.
Right. Yeah. Like, it's just, I know where your career is going. I'm from the future, young Jennifer Connelly, and this is making me feel weird. So let's cut back to David Bowie's penis.
Yeah.
So now that I know that there's a movie out there that shows his full frontal, I totally watching this thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. I don't know if you'd like it.
It's pretty
I'll
long.
just fast forward to the dong part.
No, that's not part of the deal.
Google.
Yeah, you have to. You could just Google it at that point. Yeah.
Right.
It's too bad they don't have a Mr. Skin for dongs, I guess. Maybe they do. I don't go to that part of the internet.
Yeah. The songs are great in Labyrinth. It is a musical that I enjoy. The fucking creature effects. My God, that guy was so fucking good.
Henson's amazing.
Just like not, obviously he rules the roost of animation or animatronics and puppets. He's the best it's ever been.
Yeah.
But his talent was so supreme that really you could like the top Time Magazine's 100 greatest artists of all time. Doesn't matter what you're doing. And he would be in that. Jim Henson was a supreme talent.
One of the reasons that you can say that he's this supreme talent in art is that he did something with materials that were available to everyone else that no one else could do. You couldn't copy it. If he handed you a box
Right.
of like a kit, here's the Jim Henson kit. I've made this easier for you to copy me. You still wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
It was incredible. No one else did it.
No, he was the master. The fucking master. And you know, it's sad because we've, you know, in film we've turned so far away from practical effects.
Yeah.
We just animate everything. And to a degree that's fine because you've still got an artist rendering the concepts behind these characters. But it wouldn't be the suckiest thing in the world if someday Jim Henson wasn't the greatest puppeteer, that there was somebody else in the future that takes over and does even better than him. I would love that.
Yeah. I was odd. I saw the one sort of one of the bright spots in the new Star Wars movie was The Last Jedi was that they shot that at Pinewood still. I guess that's part of the deal. And there was a practical. They did almost everything practically. That's actually a strength of the movie.
Yeah.
There was a creature. I looked through the credits and I couldn't find it, but I was just looking at it and go, that's got to be a Henson rig. Nobody else would be able to do that.
Yeah. Right.
Well, I can't find this dick picture.
All right. Well,
The entire time you guys have been talking, I've just been over here on Google.
David Bowie's dick really isn't too related to the year in review, so let's move on.
We're
But
praising-
I Googled David Bowie dick in The Man Who Fell from Earth, and it doesn't come up.
Maybe you got safe search on.
You can't get David Bowie's dick up.
Oh!
It's because he's dead.
Oh,
And it all comes back to my fear of the swingers party.
I don't want to do this podcast anymore now. I'm sad. Number 3, Jackie.
Labyrinth.
Oh, shit. Oh, really? Oh, why? Because of David Bowie's dick? Number 3, Sam.
This is one that only I watched.
Okay.
And the reason it's so high on this list is that I've been thinking about it still. I've been thinking about this movie for 5 weeks now.
Wow. Okay.
St. Elmo's Fire.
Oh, no.
It is perplexing.
It's a very respected film, isn't it?
No.
Okay, I thought it was.
People hated it.
Maybe it's just that song.
Yeah, the song was a big hit.
Yeah.
But the movie itself is Joel Schumacher.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, it may be his magnum opus. I think it is.
Other than Batman and Robin, really?
Yeah. It's better than that. Well, supposedly DC Cab's really good. I haven't seen that in so long, I don't know, right? It's got Mr. T in it. It might be halfway
Yeah,
good, right?
sure, right.
So, yeah, St. Elmo's Fire is just this. I think it's a statement about the entire generation of children that were the last group of baby boomers are basically deplorable lost generation.
Okay.
I think that's what the movie
I
says.
thought it was about cows getting electrocuted. Huh.
Well, the great part about St. Elmo's Fire is that they talk about St. Elmo's Fire for a second.
Cows getting electrocuted?
Well, the sailor version that it lights up the sterns.
Oh, I didn't know that.
At sea.
Yeah.
And no one's ever really seen it.
Oh. So it's bullshit?
Yes.
There's
at a time in the movie when you've been just swimming through this shit and you're just like, God, these people are fucking terrible. And one of them's like, it's all bullshit. And you're like, oh, fuck, I guess this movie does make sense. Kind of.
Pirate legend.
Because of pirate legend, right? You're like, oh.
What an odd way to get there.
When they mentioned that, it was like, that wasn't enough for the producers. So there's a bar called St. Elmo's too.
Okay.
But there's no fire in there either. So it's like, well, if you're going to do that, go all the way and put a fucking fireplace in it or something, right? But it's not like, it seems to be expertly made, but it's just a head scratcher because I don't know why any producer greenlit it. Most producers read the script and there's like, why would I make a movie about the worst people I've ever encountered? Like, these people are deplorable. They should be killed in a horror movie, right?
Right.
Why would I make this movie? And I guess that's why he made it. Is maybe it's a social statement, but he finally got it made, and you watch it, and you're just like, this is a head scratcher. If that's what he's wanting to say, he said it, but still, why would you make this movie?
You told me that you didn't know if it was a good or bad movie. You just could not, like, it what is it?
It's either the finest social statement that a film can make at the wrong time, or it's just a pile of shit.
Or it's just crap.
It's just awful. It's just fucking awful. The reason I think it's the former rather than the latter is that Last Days of Disco by Whit Stillman, which is a very well-respected film, is the exact same thing done 15 years removed.
Okay.
And then people look back and go, yeah, that was a bad time and we were all assholes. Whereas Joel Schumacher's like, look at yourself, America. And we were like, oh, you go and read some of these reviews on IMDb, and that's the most candid thing about the film is that the people from there's a lot of them are like, if you were grown up in that time, that's what it was like. This movie brings me back to that. And I'm reading these reviews and go, so you were an asshole?
So you're an asshole. Okay,
Yeah, wow.
all right. Huh.
And this was cool to be this much of a fucking irresponsible flake. And like everybody's bad. Like, one of them is just a coke whore. One of them plays saxophone and doesn't matter. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
One person's sort of okay. And then Emilio Estevez shows up and he's a fucking psychotic. He like stalks somebody.
Oh, good.
All the way to where her boyfriend's like, well, I'm not going to beat you up because you're too much of a pansy. And then he's like, well, I guess I'm not going to stalk her anymore. Well, what are you going to do now? I don't know. Be fucking creepy in some other way.
So is the film telling the viewer that these are good people?
No.
Okay. It tells you that they're pieces of shit. It doesn't like try to tomboy out and be like, yeah, teenage rape is fine.
No, it doesn't.
As long as you're smarmy about it.
It doesn't ever assume anything.
Okay.
It just sets the whole thing in front of you,
all right.
and you have to chew it up and swallow it yourself, and you get done with it, and you're like, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Is it an episode, Sam?
I am, unfortunately, because I've been vexed by it. If nobody else picks it, I will eventually pick
Okay.
it.
All right. St. Elmo's Fire. I have never seen it. So
I saw it a long time ago, but I just don't remember anything about
Yeah.
it other than running on the beach.
That's not in that movie.
that's Chariots of Fire.
Oh, well, shit. I guess I haven't seen it then. Just kidding.
that bad.
Yeah, it seemed like a pretty interesting movie about track and field. Okay. You know, is it like the same type of movie as like The Big Chill or like Grand Canyon, where you have this ensemble cast of people who are all connected and struggle individually in their own ways?
Yes.
Okay. I fucking hate those movies. So I'm not real eager about St. Elmo's Fire.
Well, just imagine one of those movies with people that you all hate.
Right. Well, you set up yourself for me in that genre because I instantly want to tell every single one of these people to go fuck themselves, because every single one of those movies tries to make them like this super big deal where the universe revolves around their fucking shitty little lives. Who fucking cares about you? Why do I have to have you tell me? It's like the people that run the marathon and rock climb. Like, why are you fucking telling me about this?
Yeah.
You're a person? You're just okay, good for fucking you. No, I hate those shit. Let's do it.
Yeah, I'm like, oh,
Let's
well,
do it.
if he's that vehement about it, we should do this.
Yes, fuck those people. Oh, you're that fucking important. Ugh. Oh, this is a movie about my trip to the fucking supermarket and they don't have the right size apples. Eat shit. Number 3 for me is a film not about going to the supermarket and finding the wrong size apples. It's about going to the fucking desert underground cave and finding a lot of topless women. Gwendolyn!
This isn't on my list just because I always talk about how it's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Gwendolyn is amazing. Gwendolyn has escaped me for 20 years. How the fuck had I never seen Gwendolyn before? Oh, man, it's awesome. Tawny Katane.
It's just one of my all-time favorite movies. This is bad, good, all of it. Like, Gwendolyn's a top 10 movie for me.
It's rad. The thing about Gwendolyn is, like, it's this adventure plot where Tawny Katane is in, like, Asia someplace. And her dad leaves a treasure map. Is that right?
He's trying to find, her dad was a botanist that's trying to find a butterfly.
The butterfly. Yeah, right. This super, super rare butterfly, and the only place it exists is the Valley of the Yik Yak.
Which is apparently the most dangerous place on the world.
Right. So you've got this like period piece adventure, kind of Indiana Jonesy, but not as goofy.
A little bit more Shanghai Surprise.
Yeah, exactly. Where they travel to the Yik Yak and fight challenges along the way. And then once they get to the Valley of the Yik Yak, there's a society of topless women who are making robot people underneath the dirt. What the fuck?
They found Atlantis, and then like through that, you're like, wow, what is the weird secret future business of this? And it's like, no, it's just some lady that's fucking using slaves to make a diamond mine.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, what the?
But they did find the butterfly.
Right.
They did.
But
Side
man,
effect of the diamond
what a
mine.
shift in a film. Like, that is a gear shift. When you're dropping that big rig, you know, if I may throw out a little trucker reference.
Sure.
You're dropping that big rig from 15 all the way down in a reverse in a single motion, because it is a fucking shift. This is a adventure movie. Now it's like a Logan's Run movie crammed into it as well, of weirdness.
And enough tits that when it came out, it has purposefully jammed itself into the erotic film genre.
And it's not.
It's not.
It's just a booby movie.
Yeah.
Sort of. No more than really any other movie, really. I wouldn't even say it's a booby movie. There's a lot of tits in it.
There's a lot of tits in it.
But it's not like, that's not the focus.
But it gets a little sexy with Brent Huff, too. He has to where his butt comes out.
Right, that's the other thing is, like, we got to have you screw in front of us, Tawny Katane, to stay alive. Yeah. Man, and then Tawny Katane, wow. Because I was never a fan of hers. Like, the David Coverdale bullshit where she's on top of the car having sex with it. I just was like, it's not for me. She was fucking epic hot in this movie.
Yes, the French gal is very attractive as well.
Yeah.
I mean, they just Jackin, I guess is his name.
Yeah, right.
Just Jackin, I think is actually how you pronounce it. But man, that guy can put together a visual element like this. Everything is beautiful in this movie. Even like the pirate town at the beginning is beautiful in its own dirtiness.
Yep, set design. It's man, soundstage, giant soundstage for that. Like, just awesome stuff. It's fun from beginning to end. Loved Gwendolyn, and it will go into my all-time favorite stinkers list for sure. Jackie, number 2.
Well, I believe that we've already talked about this, and it's Sam's number 2 as well.
Yeah,
The Real Men.
Okay, let's have you guys go on your big job right now. If we're talking up Real Men.
I'd been watching. I had seen it many times as a child, and it took me years, 20 some odd years to find this movie, and I was a little nervous that it wasn't going to be as good as I remembered, and it was just every bit of awesome that I remember watching when I was a kid. This was one of the VHS tapes that was starting to get worn out.
Yeah.
Like, I probably watched this one and Biggles and Rambo 2 40, 50 times each, something like that.
Well, I mean, the thing about your fear is it makes sense because as an adult, you look back in time and like a John Ritter movie. I don't know about John Ritter, because you think two things with John Ritter. Three's Company.
I loved Three's Company.
Yeah, go watch an episode of it right now.
Nope,
it's not good. And then Problem Child, and you're like, oh God, I don't know about John Ritter. But then you watch fucking Real Men, and you're like, oh my God, John Ritter.
Yeah, there's a number of other John Ritter movies, a little after and a little bit before, that are pretty funny. There was that sex comedy with the condoms that looked like lightsabers. I can't remember what that was called.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
But yeah, I never watched Problem Child, any of them, so I don't have any of that distaste for Ritter.
Sure.
Because I just, even as a kid, saw the trailers for those and was like, that is not for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, their chemistry together is as good as anything in Dumb and Dumber. Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey's chemistry together, they rival that.
Yeah.
They are excellent together on screen.
Well, and he's a MacGyver Belushi is in this
Right.
thing, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's how he recruits John Ritter as he's sitting in there and he's building something out of common household products, which immediately, if you've seen MacGyver and all that stuff, right? You're thinking this guy is like top notch, but he screws up a lot too, and so you're like, okay. And I will never get over the bang bang
Yeah.
finger gun. I think that it's awesome.
The bang bang finger gun, and then the librarian dungeon master dominatrix
Yep,
thing
sure, yeah.
that happens 3/4 of the way through when Jim Belushi's like, you know what, fuck this. I'm just going to have sex with this lady from here on out because I want wild stuff.
And that John Ritter makes out with Jim Belushi's dad, who is a hot lady.
Oh, yeah.
And on the show, we mentioned how far ahead of its time this movie was, how very progressive its themes were. Like, Jim Belushi is totally okay with his dad being a transgender. What? This is 1985? That's surprising to put in this movie. It should also be mentioned that the movie is about aliens.
Yeah, I think that's actually one of the strongest.
Huh?
It's in the writing and just all the themes. The end is super strong. It ends up like he goes to the alien guy and he's like, well, you want to have the power to destroy the earth or save it? And he's like,
Right.
save it. What do you want? I don't know, a glass of water.
Yeah.
I'm just you. This isn't really a trade. We're just going to let you destroy yourselves or save yourselves. You made the choice. I'll take the water, though. I'm thirsty. Came down a ladder from a spaceship or whatever.
Right. It's about aliens. Wow. Huh. If you didn't know that, you would not see that coming, because John Ritter definitely doesn't see it coming. His character is like, when he gets told that the movie's about aliens, he's like, oh, what?
Yeah. And when you see that, when you find out the movie's about aliens, they do a very minimal special effect, visual effect that works very well. It has aged well because less is more.
Right.
They didn't try to do too much.
Right.
But when everyone sees that the first time, they're like, wait a second, this movie's about fucking space aliens?
Oh. Huh.
Huh?
Okay. Yeah. No, Real Men is awesome. So good. So good.
What did you have for number 2?
My number 2, Clovis is back.
Clovis is back.
Number 2 for me is Sleepwalkers, Jack.
Yeah.
That's how much I loved fucking Sleepwalkers. Like, I avoided Sleepwalkers throughout my entire adult life because when we were talking about it, when you picked it, we talked about the Tommy Knockers and Thinner, and Sleepwalkers was right in the middle of those. And I just thought Stephen King was on like a shit stain streak where nothing interesting was going on in his movies. He was just, what's the next gimmick I can put together? Cat people, why not? And Sleepwalkers is just such hot garbage. It's just such hot garbage. I think it's more hot garbage than Pet Sematary.
It is.
Like,
it is absolute.
It's hot shit. Electric flaming cat fur.
And knowing how much control King himself had on both of those films,
Right.
like if there was a film by, he could probably pull the film by credit on both of them. But Sleepwalkers is definitely his baby for all of the movies he's ever been involved with. That was like all him. And you're just like, what a cool, silly guy.
Yep.
That's an awesome. He's just a cool, silly guy.
Why not, Stephen King?
Yeah.
Right? Why not? Cat people, sure, go for it. They got superpowers. They can transform their car invisible, whatever. It's stuff.
It's fun. The movie like starts out and it has this sort of thing where you're feeling like it's going to be this epic deal, right? Because it's like, oh, this ancient race of cat people and all this, and you're thinking you're supposed to be on their side
Because they're like vampires, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
but you're thinking like you're almost like, oh, I should be on their side because they're the last of a dying race. But then the kid goes to high school and he's the biggest dickhead on the planet. You're like, fuck the cat people.
Supreme douche.
He just tries to run over kids for no reason.
For none reason.
It's like, oh, we got to lay low this time. Okay, let me go try to run down some kids in my fucking
I'll go murder some
Camaro.
teenagers. Wait, is it a Camaro? Maybe it's a Mustang. I don't know. What mood am I in today? I'm a cat person. I got fucking car-changing superpowers. And then their primary weakness. Cats. They're cat people.
Which makes no fucking sense.
Number one weakness is cats.
Cats. So they're Not cat people.
So they should and they're incestuous cat people. We don't know any more about the cat people race because this is the last two of them. But I'm going to assume everything I know about cat people is that they're incestuous because I only have one example to go off of. The last of the cat people are incestuous, so all cat people are incestuous. They shouldn't be able to have sex together because they're allergic to themselves.
And not some. I mean, yeah. Maybe they have to have sex with each other to live or something. The way they're doing it, right?
What? How? What?
Because they're like only being evil or fucking each other.
Right.
There's really no in between.
Right. Running
with these
over
two.
teenagers or glowing in their bedroom.
Yeah.
Because they glow when they bang. That's also a fucking thing.
Like, yeah, I guess they got pointy ears, but they might not be cats.
I don't know what they are.
They're allergic to cats.
It's bizarre and it's impossibly stupid and fun throughout. Clovis rules.
Yeah.
I fucking love Sleepwalkers. I fucking love it. I would like to go to there. I'll watch, as we said, Pet Sematary. I'll watch that every year. I'll watch Sleepwalkers every year. Both are a fucking blast. The big guns. Jackie, number 1.
It's the fish at St. Pittsburgh.
Wow.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. It's the fish at St. Pittsburgh.
Wow is right.
Dr. J and the Fish That Saved Pittsburgh is your number 1 movie of the year.
Yes.
Wow, I am surprised by that.
Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
I loved that movie so much. The fortune teller lady and the costumes.
Who
and
is just a Zodiac reader, really.
Yeah.
And she, if you don't know anything about Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, it's Dr. J has a shitty basketball team. They need to turn the whole thing around, so a kid enlists the Zodiac lady to tell them when it's a good time to slam it or to pass it.
The kid starts reading some things about astrology, and he's like, wait a second. Dr. J's character, whatever, is a Pisces, and he's surrounded by a bunch of something else. They're assholes. We got to get rid of them. And then he goes to the astrologer, and she's like, a basketball team made of Pisces, I can become Bill Belichick somehow, knowing this information. And then that happens, and you're like, what the fuck? It's awesome. And it's got a weird, large following.
Does it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a website.
There is a website, yeah.
That is basically dedicated to making people know that it's the greatest basketball movie ever made, according to the website.
Better than Space Jam, that's for sure.
It is better than it was the best of any of them that we did.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, but I loved that they had the great big fish at the end that came down.
Yeah. Its
and
production
it was
design
hoopla.
is pretty impressive.
You know, that they kidnapped the Zodiac reader gal,
Right.
and you know that this little kid is pretty much managing a team, and it was just super fun.
It is fun.
The costumes in the period of that age, you know, what was cool and hip and jive, you know,
Right.
the big cars and that kind of stuff. I just thought it was super funny and campy. I liked it.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed Fish That Saved Pittsburgh.
It was on the outside looking in. I just I had to choose between that and The Specialist, and I just felt like we didn't talk enough about The Specialist, so I slid that one in instead.
There you go. No, it's a great time. I highly recommend The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh. And really, the thing that, like, Jackie's not a basketball fan.
No.
I can't even talk her into going to a local basketball game, knowing how much I think they're exciting, and they got hot dogs there.
Yeah.
And that's cool.
Like, we can't get her to watch sports movies either.
Right.
Except for Any Given Sunday. She wanted to watch that one.
She likes
There's a bunch of dongs in that one.
Oh, that's why.
she likes The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, hating basketball.
Yeah.
Now, on the other side of the coin, I enjoy basketball quite a bit. I always have my entire life. This is very Harlem Globetrotters basketball that's in this movie, and it's fun. So you don't have to be a basketball person to enjoy it. And if you are a basketball person, you're going to enjoy it. Like, it's just fun for everybody. Bring the whole family. Dr. J's going to dunk it and maybe have sex with a lady because he can dunk it. I'm not real sure about that part.
And it does one thing right that a lot of movies forget. Its characters are characters.
Right.
Every single one of them.
Yes.
Set shot.
Yep.
Oh man, set shot.
Set shot.
Takes fouls too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when we did the Space Jam episode, and I bitched about their uniforms, right? And how crappy they were.
Right.
But in the Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, they've got like the shiny. I mean, somebody spent some
They
time
are
on
bejeweled.
these. Yeah, these are some great athletic gear looks.
They're looking sweet.
Yeah. It's got to be the best looking sports outfit I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it's one of the funnest sports movies I can think of from the 70s, at least, for sure.
Yeah, I know.
It's like bleak period. Like it very could have been that bowling movie that we all fucking hated so bad, and it wasn't.
Yes. What the fuck was that bowling movie?
Who fucking cares?
God, that bowling movie sucked.
Bowling movie? Yeah, no, Fish That Saved Pittsburgh, Jackie. Nice choice for number 1. Samuel.
My number 1 is Radical Jack.
Radical Jack is number 1!
Whoa, that was my number 9.
No, Radical Jack's
How
a
about that?
big deal to me because Radical Jack is so bad. It is on, like, finding it was sort of like finding Megaforce or finding
right.
Duncan Jacks or any of these things. Like, it was like, whoa, get a load of this bullshit.
Get a load of this Billy Ray.
Oh my God.
And you have no choice. I mean, it is a load of Billy Ray.
Yeah. And that I can comfortably say it is one of the worst films ever made.
It sucks.
I was like,
garbage.
come at me, brah.
Yeah,
if
right.
you think it's not.
Right. It is so dumb.
But he definitely does set the standard for the most awesome mullet ever.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely. It's the pinnacle mullet.
It's the he's the apex mulleting.
Yeah.
You're told he is so tough. So fucking tough from the very opening shot of the film. And then he proceeds to accomplish nothing in his toughness from that point on. He hides under a goddamn bed. And then his girlfriend, who is just a waitress, has no training on being tough at all, is the one that kills all the bad guys.
She's the commando. At the beginning, he can't even get away from 3 dickheads, right? Like, are you Radical Jack? He should be like, no, I'm not.
Got the wrong guy. Well, I've got your headshot right here, Billy Ray Cyrus. I've got your album cover.
I've got your album cover.
It is so bad and fun and dumb and yeah, Radical Jack. I can't argue with you.
No, it was a rare special find. I was just it's as excited about a bad movie as I've told more people about Radical Jack than I've told since probably the Duncan Jacks movies.
And that's another thing is it is a good launch pad. You can tell anybody about Radical Jack. They don't have to be listeners of Stinker Madness to appreciate it. Just be like, we're watching Radical Jack. Get ready.
Yeah, like at some point I'm just gonna like roll into somebody's house and they're like, hey, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, we're gonna watch this movie.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna tell them anything.
Right.
And I've done it with America 3000. I've done it with Malibu Express. I can do it with Radical Jack, and that's why it's my number 1. I can just walk into somebody's house, sit them down, make them watch it. They'll be like, whoa.
Huh. Radical Asahi guy.
Hey, Asahi guy.
That's a blast. My number 1 to close out the top 10 list. I'm very surprised that this didn't come up before. Fateful Findings.
I also left Neil Breen off of the list intentionally because we scream the name of Breen constantly. So I knew somebody was going to do it. So it was another one where the back end of my list were just films I wanted to talk about. I knew we were going to talk about Breen. Otherwise, he would be on there.
All right, Jackie.
I think my thing with the Breen films is they're fucking ridiculous. They're super funny, and they're not meant to be.
Right.
I gotta get this work done, but they're just kind of boring to me.
Really?
And
oh,
I
man. I peed my pants laughing.
That's why it didn't make my list for anything because it was there were just better films that
Sam's
we did.
eyeball almost came out from laughing at.
Yeah, that's the thing about like most movies that you want to say are exciting. There's like never a dull moment. And you're saying they're boring. I'm saying they're so boring that they become unboring. It's always a dull moment.
Right.
Every moment in a Neil Breen film is as dull
as
it possibly could be. And that transforms it into like lightning somehow.
There could be a scene in a Neil Breen movie of him pouring a bag of chips into a bowl.
He wouldn't be able to do it right.
And I would be riveted.
Yeah.
Like, this is exciting to me because it's ineptitude on all levels. Fateful Findings is, to me, super special because it's not as uncomfortable as The Room. It's a little bit more accessible because, you know, on various occasions I've exposed people to The Room and they start to ask, is this a porno? Because it's so bad in the realm of writing that it kind of blends into that 90s porno territory. Whereas Fateful Findings, nobody will, they're just like, this is what the fuck is this shit? There's magic, and then it's also so much more accessible than the Room's opposite, Birdemic, which is just a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I leave Birdemic out of the holy trinity of ineptitude because it's just too hard to watch.
Right. It's just it sucks.
The three of them are The Room, Fateful Findings, and Templar Nation. That's the holy trinity of inept filmmaking, and I think that the Breens are definitely the most accessible.
Right. And I think between those three of them, I think Fateful Findings is the most fun. It has, I mean, I'm going to walk around for the rest of my life and be saying, I got to get this work done.
I got to get this work done.
That is my motif now, my idiom. It's a magical day. I'm hacking government systems. Just so much material that I'm going to use throughout my life forever that Fateful Findings has fused with my DNA.
Sure.
I am now one with Fateful Findings.
I would like to be able to do the Templar Nation quote. I am a Templar. But you have to do it like that.
Right.
And so there's no real world situation where you can do that with a movie that nobody's fucking seen.
The plot's baffling. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. And then you've been through this roller coaster of bad filmmaking and bad storytelling and bad acting and weirdness, you know, shirtless hugging. Let's hug weirdly in the shower while I'm bleeding out of my head. Okay. Honey, why are you home from the hospital? Shouldn't you be there? I'm glad to see you. You got massive head wound. And so you've gone through all this, and then you finally come to the conclusion of his hacking the government, which I'm not even sure if that's what the movie's about.
No, I'm not certain that I really thought they were going to get to the bottom of the troubles that were happening at the bank.
Right.
I got one of the problems that's going on with the bank is two of the employees just stay at home and drink wine all day.
And then you have this press conference that Neil Breen gives.
This magic rock.
Through a magic rock about the governments being evil and the corporations being evil. And these people the evil people attend the press conference and they're like nodding along with him. Yeah, you're right. We suck. And they go all fucking kill themselves.
They kill themselves. One of them dies smiling. He doesn't even it's barely set up enough that he's suffocating himself in the car. So if you blink, you miss that part. You just see some guy in his car smile and then put his head on the steering wheel. Like, I guess he was evil and now he's dead.
Right. And so the only way to explain the entire film is magic. There's things that transpire that you're like, I have no rational explanation for what that is or what just happened. So I'm just going to go with magic?
Yeah.
Okay. Man, Fateful Findings cannot not be my number one. I am Fateful Findings. It is me. We are the same. There it is. Our number 10 through 1. So go watch those movies. I just want to go through my honorable mentions real quick. We can all do the same thing, but Radical Jack did make my honorable mentions. The Young Rebels, which I enjoyed quite a bit. The same guy that did Samurai Cop. No Retreat, No Surrender. No, Jean-Claude Van Damme sort of in it, and arguably the most weird training sequence ever. Raiders of Atlantis. You remember that shit, Sam?
Yeah, I struggled. That one I looked at 4 times, but I didn't put it in the honorable mentions.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
I really liked
it.
that
Just
movie.
got weak. I think it was a little too slow on the front end for me,
Okay. All right.
but it really got there once it did.
Well, slapped on the gas. Seed of Chucky, which Jackie hated, but I think it's my favorite Chucky movie. A Speed Racer, of course. Fate of the Furious, we did not mention at all. It stinks.
It stinks versus. It went to a level of bad that they haven't touched since the second one.
Yeah, and our friend Sean said, "Fuck you" in the middle of the theater. It was awesome. Double Team. Born Killer, the David A. Pryor, Ted A. Pryor, Fritz Matthews joint, and The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh made my honorable mentions too.
The only one that made mine that you didn't just mention there, or I haven't mentioned earlier, was Nine Deaths of the Ninja.
Nine Deaths of the Ninja.
But we had talked about that a lot in the last year's year in review.
Shokasugi and Brett Huff.
Yeah.
So my only two that I even put on an honorable mentions list was Popstar
Oh yeah,
and The Running Man.
Yeah, Popstar. Don't never stop.
Except I didn't
Never stop.
put that in the bad movie.
Popstar's not. No. Yeah. She's just throwing an honorable mention to
it. It was super funny. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. Running Man. God, I don't enjoy The Running Man very much. I'm sorry. I hate to be that guy. So now comes the part where we discuss the best 3 movies that we saw in 2017, from 2017. So they can be shitty movies. They could be good movies, but these are the best movies that we saw of 2017.
My most enjoyed movie experiences of the year.
Yes. Let's start with you this time, Sam.
It's odd that I have to put this here because it's a filmmaker that I particularly don't like except for 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
But I fucking loved Hateful Eight.
The Hateful Eight.
I fucking loved Hateful Eight because the thing is that I don't like these meandering things that Tarantino gets sidetracked in the middle of some of his other movies because he's trying to make a movie. And Hateful Eight is only a meandering sidetrack.
Right.
There is no meat and potatoes. He's just sort of throwing peas and carrots at you the whole time.
Right.
And it's bizarre and it's strange. And it's what makes his movies charming, and it's the only time he's ever done it all at once, and that's what I really liked about it.
Huh.
Even though it was long and wordy and
Just that
got
last 10
weird.
minutes of it killed it for me. I just hated the final 10 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, the stretch.
I actually didn't like it until halfway through.
Yeah. I did. I was on board. I was big time on board where they pull into the fucking bar, whatever this place is, the tavern, inn, and things are not as they appear.
Sure.
Like it everybody knows things aren't what they're supposed to be inside, and it's just a matter of putting all the pieces together. I thought it was a fun, awesome whodunit until the last 10 minutes when everything's wrapped up, and I'm like, oh, fuck this.
I really liked elements that I don't like in other movies. Like he just comes in with a weird narration,
Right.
and does it, and the movie doesn't need it, and
Yeah.
he knows he doesn't need it, but he's just doing it anyway because he thinks it's fun,
Right.
And it works because he thinks it's fun, and that's just what I have to say about this movie. He just sort of made one that he wanted to make all the way like he wants to make it, and I liked that. I haven't liked any. I sort of liked Django. I didn't hate Django.
I like Django. Yeah.
But like, I liked the last half of Kill Bill 2. I hated 1. I really only like Pulp Fiction in this movie.
Yeah.
Of his movies, I revisited Reservoir Dogs. I don't like it that much.
Yeah, I think it's a snooze fest. Jackie.
I, Tonya.
Man, I cannot disagree with you. If I could have 5 movies, I, Tonya would be on the list for sure. It is fantastic.
Oh yeah, it was great storytelling.
She is so good in it.
Yeah, Margot Robbie.
Yeah, she did not win. Frances McDormand won for 3 Signs Outside of Ebbings. I think that's the wrong choice. No offense, Frances McDormand, you're great, but in that you're just playing Frances McDormand.
Sure.
Margot Robbie, she shouldn't be depth. She shouldn't have this depth. You know, she's a Barbie doll. She's fucking great.
Yeah.
She's such a great actress. Mm-hmm. And she kills Tonya Harding.
Oh, she does, most definitely. And just the skating. I like skating.
Yeah.
The darker side of the skating world and the things that she went through, and just not knowing, because I remember when all this happened. I just don't remember it happening like that. And so it was a fun ride.
It is a fun ride. It is a very interesting ride. There's a lot of perspective on the Olympics that we're kind of still dealing with. Like,
Oh, man.
like we all know that the Russians are the bad guy because they're juicing.
No.
Our U.S. Olympics system isn't real great either, USA.
No, we have rape all over ours.
Yes.
And then the Olympic Committee is just a cesspool of corruption that makes FIFA look like a fucking children's carnival.
Right. And you know, the same thing with, you know, the tragedy is that I respect the shit out of Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
Just respect the shit out of them. And Tonya Harding being a white trash, foul-mouthed, poor, kind of, scuzzy, diminishes my respect for her as an Olympic athlete. None. It actually does the opposite.
Yeah.
And Tonya showcases that throughout, that she is mistreated. She's judged not by her athletic ability, but because of how fucking pretty she is or isn't. And that's fucking horseshit.
Yeah.
I've had it with that crap.
Well, she wasn't conventional, and they didn't want. There was just so much of that in there. Like, well, you're not picking the right kind of music, so they don't want to push
Right.
you along.
Right.
But she was so talented,
She was incredibly talented.
and
The first woman to do the triple Lutz.
yeah, and then they just wanted to pass her up because, you know, I don't like your choice of music, and your costumes aren't as fancy because you have to make your own stuff.
And you smoke cigarettes and drink too much, and your husband's a wife abuser, and blah blah blah. How's that my fucking fault? How does that have anything to do with my ability to skate? Fuck you. And she does. I mean, that's the other great thing is that throughout the entire movie, Tonya Harding is saying everything you want to say to the movie. Like, just so well done. And the editing, wowie, wow. Like, every complaint that you had about Dunkirk, Jackie, is the same idea in I, Tonya, as far as its editing. It's constant changes. And it's just awesome. It is just awesome. I, Tonya is fantastic. Good job. My number 3, The Darkest Hour. Saw it in the theater. Absolutely loved it. It is exciting. It is supremely well acted. It is supremely well shot. I mean, it is gorgeous.
It's passionate.
And when you walk out of that theater, you want to fucking start a revolution. Like, you're so fired up and inspired and motivated, number one, pissed off as hell and not going to take it anymore, that you want to, like, you walk out of there and you're looking for a goddamn soapbox to stand on and start yelling at people. Those motherfuckers, man, those motherfuckers, they wanted to make peace with fucking Hitler, and he told them, go fuck yourself. He was I, Tonya. Him and Tonya Harding teamed up and fought the space Nazis and won because they're badasses. Fuck you, Nazis. And it's just, it's a story in a movie about a cantankerous old man who struggles to get out of bed in the morning. That's what the movie's about. And when you get out of there, you're like, that guy, man, I want to punch somebody. Because fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Fuck you.
Fuck you!
Sammy?
My number 2 is Kubo and the Two Strings.
Oh, yeah. That's a good movie.
It would have been a sort of good movie that I really enjoyed. It was a good movie with my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I found out it was stop animation, and now I think it's one of the greatest movies that's ever been made.
It is dumb.
The rig,
dumb.
the largest rig ever built.
Yep.
For stop motion. When I found out that I was stop motion, my jaw was on the fucking ground.
It's the best that's ever been done. Not even. There's not. Sorry, Harry Hauser. Kubo is the best stop motion ever done.
The opening scene when he plays his instrument and the paper mache samurai fight.
Uh-huh.
That's What the fuck? How did they even do that?
I didn't enjoy the story behind Kubo too much, but the one thing I will say about Kubo is it's fucking art. It is as art as you can art. Like, man, is it chock full of people busting their fucking asses to make an artistic statement about something. That's it. There's no reason why it should be stop motion other than the fact they wanted to do it, and they did it, and it's amazing.
I agree. Visually, that movie just absolutely captivates you.
And it's imaginative. It's a very unique world that's created in this. The character design is great. The witch lady or witch ladies, his nemesis are frightening.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that your daughter didn't have nightmares. Traumatizing. But at the same time, there's like this neat magical existence that comes through the artwork. That I respect the hell out of that movie.
Yeah, I also, just because I watch such a volume of children's movies because I have a 5-year-old, you're like, the story's not really much to do. It's not like super unconventional or really great, but it versus all of the other things, it's actually a little bit brave.
Yeah.
They kind of went out in every direction pretty far with Kubo. Like, it was not a safe play on any level.
No.
And that, it makes it special. It makes it like the Dark Crystal, basically.
Yeah.
It's just a special film.
Yeah.
It's like a forever special movie.
Yeah. You can critique the story, you can critique David Bowie's penis, but either way, the people who were making the art were fucking masters at it.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been better. Sorry, Lego movies. Jackson?
So my next one is Call Me By Your Name.
Oh, God, no. No.
I didn't watch this. What the hell is, what is Call Me By Your Name?
It's controversial. It was the controversy one with Armie Hammer. And the kid was nominated for, but actually he won, didn't he? No, he didn't win. He lost to Gary Oldman, of course.
Yeah.
The kid is a fucking great actor.
Armie Hammer's like the kiss of death.
Yeah. He's an older intern kind of guy, mid-20s, super handsome, charming, comes over to stay with an Italian family and ends up having a love affair with their 16-year-old child.
He was 17.
17, whatever. I think it's a little... It's Nambla, the movie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But aside from that, I fucking hated it. I thought it was garbage. I thought it was shitty storytelling. Jackie, what did you like about it?
I thought it really captured that summertime romance that you might only experience once in your lifetime, if you get to experience it at all. And I really felt like it encompassed that and caught that emotion beautifully. And I think that that's why I continue to keep thinking about it. And it just has a special place for me. I think it's fantastic.
The summertime love aspect of it, yes, and that was my beef when we walked out of the theater on it, is that having your first love is a very big deal.
Yeah.
In your life. But the thing is every single person ever has had that first love. We've all gone through, it's 99.9%.
Most moviegoers have seen it.
What?
Most moviegoers have had it, I say.
Yeah. Okay. So what you're doing is you're taking something that everybody experiences, like pooping or doing the dishes. Or
wow, that's really quite cynical compared to first loved and taking a shit.
I'm not saying the level of funness behind them. Obviously, pooping is not so fun.
I enjoy it,
but it's mundane. It's common, and
not mine.
I don't.
I take a shit. It's fucking serious. Looks weird usually. All kinds of different colors.
It's like you ate a box of crowns.
Yep.
I go to the films to check out of reality. And I don't mean that means I have to go to fucking space. But I want to be in somebody else's shoes for a matter of time. That's what that experience to me should be. And I don't want to rehash some shit that I went through when I was fucking 17, 18. Okay. Cool. I'm glad I sat here for fucking 3 hours to experience the normal
I thought that the movie really did capture the normal, and I just thought it was beautifully told.
Yeah, I completely disagree. I will take that to my grave. Call Me by Your Name was not a good movie. I mean, it's a fine movie, but it was nominated for the Oscar for equal opportunity on subject matter. It's white guilt. Nope. Doesn't make it good. Number 2 for me. A little movie called Blade Runner 2049. I fucking loved Blade Runner 2049.
I was switch. I couldn't decide whether I wanted that one or Hateful Eight, but I liked Hateful. I think I may have liked Blade Runner 2049, but the problem was I just didn't like it versus the first one.
Yeah.
So it was this weird film that was done very well. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a great movie.
It's gorgeous.
It's just comparatively, Blade Runner is my favorite movie, and it's not quite as good. So it gets a bad rap from me somehow.
Yeah, because you're using another film to rate another film.
My problem with Blade Runner 2049 versus the original is it says things explicitly that the first one says implicitly, and the strength of the first one is that it makes those statements implicitly and not explicitly. Also, its strongest point and its highest peak is a very high one, and I thought it was a great moment. Don't get me wrong. It's when the advertisement calls him Joe and he realizes that he's not fucking special.
Yeah.
And that's a great hair stand up on the back of your neck.
Yeah.
It's half as high as Tears in the Rain from Rucker Holler.
Yeah.
It's half as high.
Yeah.
And the first one hits about 4 more spots that are that high too.
And here's my thing, Sam. Blade Runner is your favorite? It's one of my least favorite movies.
Sure.
I just don't like Blade Runner, but I fucking loved Blade Runner 49, and maybe for the opposite reasons why you like Blade Runner 1. My big thing that I want to give this film credit for is it didn't super succeed. In fact, I don't think it did very good at all.
It didn't do very good.
For how much it cost, sure, but it's one of those rare Hollywood summer big releases. That's not an original idea. It's a sequel, right? Which is what we're all complaining about, that there's no original ideas in Hollywood. It's just superhero movies and sequels. And it is all that, and it's good. It's shot beautifully. People with talent were put behind it. It's not fucking Jerry Bruckheimer shitting out some goddamn atrocity and people, selling a gajillion tickets. Somebody wanted to make a good movie, and they did, and the studio then said, okay, fine, we'll market it this way. I loved it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was awesome.
I enjoyed the storyline of it, but to me, it was cool. I'll give you that. I liked the storyline. I liked the visual effects. It was a fine movie. Just didn't make
Nothing wrong with that.
Didn't make my wheels spin.
Yep. It's right up my ass. Sammy.
My number 1. The movie that I enjoyed the most watching this year. And I enjoyed it more than a movie. I enjoyed this movie more than any movie I've seen in 5 years. If not more.
Oh.
Popstar.
Popstar never stopped stopping.
Popstar made me believe in comedy again.
Oh, wow.
I haven't seen any. Those guys are uniquely. Lonely Island is uniquely funny in a special way. They are generational talents in the world of comedy. It takes them 7 years to make a movie. Good. Because once they finally get around to that, what they've boiled down in 7 years is the largest collection of actually funny jokes that get put into one movie until they make another movie. And they went to a place that probably killed this movie's returns by making the best dick joke that's ever been fucking made.
Yeah.
But you can't put a cock on screen for as long as they did and get good financial returns.
Right. It's, oh man, that is, it's a big dick in that movie.
that fucking joke
right
was
there, it's
the
biggest dick ever.
That's what makes them special, because everybody knows in comedy that, like, if you're fucking tanking, fall back on a dick joke. So when a group of 3 people are like, "Oh, you want a dick joke?"
Oh, you think?
And they're like,
"You ready for that?"
"We're gonna fucking show you what a dick joke can be." And you're like, "Whoa, that's a dick joke right there." Yowza.
That's awesome. It is a hilarious fucking movie, man. I was rolling.
It hits everything in the entertainment industry on the head perfectly.
Yeah. Very satirical.
The TMZ mock TMZ
Bill
group.
Hader, yeah.
Oh God, it was Will Arnett.
Oh, it was Will Arnett.
Yeah, Will Arnett. It is amazing.
Yeah. No, it's fucking. It is shit your pants funny. I loved it. Jackie, you're a pretty big fan of Popstar. Never stop stopping.
I do. I made my honorable mentions list, even though it wasn't a bad movie.
Right.
But I wanted to throw it out there because I did think it was super funny. I laughed my ass off. And it totally reminded me of when we were growing up and the boy band thing was like a big deal.
Right.
And, it's like, oh, they're going to get back together and have a reunion tour. And it totally reminded me of like New Kids on the Block.
Yeah, sure.
For whatever reason. And at the end, they're like, I always wanted to do that dance move. And I'm like, oh, yeah, NSYNC, here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just fun. It makes you happy.
It does make you happy. It's a happy movie. I loved it.
I had lost faith in comedy movies until that happened. I was like, oh, thank God we can still make funny ones.
Right. Because a lot of, there's movies that are very funny nowadays, but they're not comedy movies.
Yeah.
I'm going to give a shout out later. I just want to mention this movie, but The Big Sick is a very funny movie. It's not on my list, but it's like, hey, I just want to make sure Big Sick is a really good movie. But it's not a comedy. It's a romance. Comedy is an element within the storytelling of it. Popstar, and there's lots of movies like that. That's how you get comedy and good jokes in film, is you write a story and then there's comedic elements in it. Popstar is the old breed of comedy movies where their goal isn't to tell a story, it's to make fucking people bust their pants laughing.
It's a joke. It's a
how are we going to get to that point is the story.
Yes.
So yeah, I completely agree. That's not a thing anymore, making comedy movies. So awesome work.
My number one movie that I saw this year, it absolutely captivated me. I mean, like, I listened to the soundtrack for it. I have looked up interviews on this movie. Just shit that I don't do, because I'm not a movie type stalker person. But this movie was just so captivated. Everything about it just sunk into my soul and made me so happy.
It hit all the right buttons for Jackie.
Oh, yeah. And it's The Greatest Show. The Greatest Showman.
You don't even know the name of it. The Greatest Showman, starring Hugh Jackman.
Jackman.
Okay. What's the story there, Jackie? Why for you?
Well, one, it is a musical, and most of the time with musicals, the songs are just so fucking dumb that you're like, oh my God, fucking kill me. I don't want to hear about how you're jumping off the rooftop to get a bowl of porridge.
Give me some Oliver. Rooftop porridge.
Yeah,
I know you were you said porridge, but it sounded like porridge. So. Porridge.
Porridge.
Poor Oliver.
Yes.
He never gets porridge.
But it was meant to be an uplifting and inspiring movie about acceptance and being okay with who you are, and very much a lot of the messaging in that movie was exactly how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
And Hugh Jackman actually co-wrote a majority of the music for this.
He's supremely talented.
Yes. And Zac Efron, I thought it was an interesting choice, but man, he just nailed it. And that kid can sing.
Yeah, he can sing. That's where he's from, is singing.
I thought he was just on the Disney Channel.
No.
I think if you're one of the Disney kids, you got to be able to do all of it.
Yeah.
And then have better jazz hands than the other 600 standing behind you.
Right.
Yeah. But the costumes and the messaging and the music, it all just intertwined together to make and it's based off of J.B. or Barnum, the Barnum Circus.
P.T. Barnum.
Yeah, P.T. Barnum Circus.
Barnum and Bailey.
And like how he got started and taking the freaks of society that everybody has cast aside and told to hide, and making them stars, not for people to laugh at, but giving them a place in the world.
Right.
And I'm getting kind of teary-eyed about it. Just how much I love this movie. And just fighting the odds of, because he came from nothing, right?
Sure.
And he loved an upper society lady in this movie. And, when she's of age or whatever, they run off together. And for the first bit of their lives, and they have 2 daughters, and they're not rich people. And then he has this idea. He gets fired from his job, and he has this idea of starting a museum. And the museum actually works itself into being the circus. And I don't know how to explain it if you haven't seen it, it is a definite go out and watch it.
If you're into musicals, I would say, because
the music is complementary to it, but it's not the entire thing. It's not a bunch of music.
Okay. All right. I don't know. I'm not, I think you're putting a little, we'll see. I haven't seen it yet. But I do know you love it so much that I'm willing to go with you tomorrow, and I fucking hate musicals.
That's right. We're going to the Dollar Theater
to check it out, but it may not be for everyone still, because even La La Land's not for everyone.
This makes La La Land look like a piece of shit.
Oh, I don't know
about that.
You know what? I didn't enjoy La La Land that much.
Okay.
And this...
It's a choreography or a cinematography masterpiece.
Okay, great. Well, this one will kick it in the teeth.
I don't think it will.
What about Billy Elliot?
Dude, yeah, no.
What?
This movie is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, but Billy Elliot's
the greatest, and the reason I call it the greatest show is because the opening number in it is called "This Is the Greatest Show," and I just forget to put the man on the end.
Okay, all right. We'll see. It might work great for you, and it will. And obviously, it's very popular with a lot of people. But you should go see it, I think is a bold statement.
Oh, I don't. I think you will.
Yeah, I'm sure the guys that are listening that like movies like Commando and Rambo are lining up to see singing and dancing
like
movies.
Half of the people that we just talked to are like, well, one guy likes a movie with a big cock in it.
Yep.
Not going to watch that one. Lady seems like Ferris dancing around. Not going to watch that one.
And last but not least comes to me a movie about a fishman love affair. Bestiality. Shape of Water is my #1 movie by miles. Shape of Water is probably my movie of the fucking decade. It is every single aspect of filmmaking the very best that was done that year. Like just every single piece. And the thing that I think carries it most is the production design. It is just detail after detail after details. Like in video games, let's put it this way. You've got, for instance, let's say I saw something on Reddit about Skyrim. The fucking bullshit swords and knights jobber. You have detail in game that you zoom into, right?
Sure.
Or you can zoom out, and you drill down onto layers after layers after layers, and you're looking at something your character can't even see, but there's texture on flower petals.
Yeah.
Say, I don't necessarily need that to enjoy this game about having a sword and fighting dragons.
Yeah.
But it's there, and I go, wow. It's the same way with Shape of Water. It's a story about a lady falling in love with a fish man. But like their apartment, because she lives with, oh God, what's his name? He's such a fucking great actor. He won Best Supporting Actor. She lives with the guy.
No, they're neighbors. They don't live together.
Well, they share a space, as it were. There's just so much art involved in that, because it's a retro piece. It's not a period piece, but it's a vintage look to everything that they have. Oh, man, those guys fucking kicked ass at that. The music is fantastic. Everything that Red Sonja is missing in music, you're selling a story about a lady falling in love with a sea monster. You got to have all those pieces put together perfectly or it's going to not work, right?
Yeah.
And
even then, right?
Yeah, and it does. I mean, it's a 10 on every fucking level that I could possibly give it. And beautiful, emotionally stirring. There's, you have this in Greatest Showman, you've got this message of being yourself and who you are. No matter what society says about you. Well, it's the same thing with Shape of Water. Guys, the movie isn't about a lady falling in love with a fish man. That's not what the whole thing is about. That's what takes place. What it's about is fuck you to anybody who says you can't love who you love. That's not their fucking decision. And if it's a goddamn fish man, then you love that fish man. So if you think that's what it is, you're missing the messaging completely. It gets it. It nails it. And just fantastic on every level. It's the best movie I've seen in 10 years. So there you go. Boom, shakalaka. That's the episode, guys.
Be careful if you run into some reruns of Airwolf.
Yeah.
Don't watch them.
Thanks for listening. Another year, Stinker fans. We really appreciate you guys. Year after year after year sticking by us and enjoying the show with us and enjoying the movies and having fun along the way. So here's to year 5 to Jackie, Sam, and me. And you, dear listener.
This is the greatest show!
Get to the job. Visit us at www.stinkermadness.com. Follow Stinker Madness on Twitter at Stinker Madness. Please rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher. Thank you for listening, and get to the chopper.
Things that are doorbells. What?
I don't know if I'm not expecting anybody.
Well, you're looking at me like I'm bringing these people. Like, I don't know. I didn't make them come.
How do I know that you didn't? What are they doing?
Selling chalk and calling it hair chalk.
What the fuck would I want chalk in my hair for?
It's because you can put colors in your hair. They're just little dudes.
Oh, still, yeah, that's...
6, 7,
goddamn little bastards are selling snake oil.
Yeah, they were selling. Yeah, it's cool. You can put it in dog's hair, your hair, wherever you want it. We're selling chalk hair.
Chalk hair.
Yeah, I get what you guys are doing, and I like it.
Yeah.
Go sell it
You
next
guys
door,
are
though.
fucking people. Go fuck them over there.